If somebody asked me to explain your game,
Right.
you are a pure field player. Like
Always.
you're roll out of bed, talented field player. Like if you stopped playing golf for 5 years and just roll out of bed and went and play with your, like you just would pick it up. It's like riding a bike. Huh?
No chance.
You don't think so?
No. I take 3 days off. I come back. I'm like, is this a golf club or a tennis racket?
Oh, see, I hate that.
You kidding me?
I hate that.
You kidding me?
So
no,
we're having a conversation.
I'm a grinder.
Okay.
So I'm the guy that, like, if I go 5-6 weeks on the road, I go home. Like, if I fly home Sunday night, I mean, I have a club in my hand Tuesday.
All right, 2018 Masters champion Patrick Reed. Welcome to the show.
Thanks,
this is kind of like a
me.
satellite, fully equipped episode. So I followed tour bags closely since you started. You know, your career started. I know you started out, I think, with Nikes when you came on to the scene out of college, and then you start to transition into Callaway, which is my old employer. But you've done some interesting things with your golf bag. So I want to go back. We're going to start with how you build your bag, because you've kind of done it the same way in many cases for a long time, right? Yeah. So. You know, working with Mike Taylor and those guys back in the Nike days, talk to me just about that time in your career and what you learned about equipment back then.
Working with Mike Taylor was unbelievable. You know, being in Houston and being when I was with Nike and Mike was up in Dallas, kind of be able to go up there and watch the process of not just the clubs being built, but also what he can do to kind of personalize wedges, irons, and things for the players on staff was unbelievable and fantastic. I'm a gearhead, so seeing how all of it's done and seeing the background is awesome and is fun for me to see. But you know, I think that kind of really, you know, was an eye-opening experience for me. Right. Because
you learn how the soup's made, man.
But we always would go grab, like, they'd send us clubs in junior and college golf. You'd get a set of clubs and, all right, you might change the shaft and grip, and that's about it. But then now all of a sudden you see what all can be done. Right. And,
especially with him, because he'll go in the rabbit hole with you.
Him and I, we would do a lot of work on wedges, because I mean, as a kid, I missed every fairway and every green, so I need to learn how to chip a putt. And so,
that's why you do it so well now.
And so we, so like he's like, oh yeah, we'll take off some, you know, grind some off here, grind some off there. I go back out there, test it. He's like, oh, that doesn't sound right. He's like, yeah, it seems like it's clicking here. And so he would sit there and we just, you know, for hours just kind of fine tune one. And then once we got it, so I was like, oh, that feels great. Right. He would actually go and make a mold of it, and you know, makes life a lot easier, right? Not having to sit there and grind and get so personalized on it to where then no matter what, you feel really confident and comfortable going out and playing with something. How
really quickly, so like, and I learned this from Mike too, and I learned a little bit from Bob Vokey, but like when it comes to wedges and bounce and all that stuff, it's a sound. Like they always, the good wedge makers,
they know how to sound.
They hear it. They don't see it. They hear it, right? So when you're, you know, at the oven back in the day, and, you know, Mike's, you know, for the people that don't know, but Mike's shop now is the old oven. Right. And it's like a, you know, if you're a Tiger head or a Patrick Reed head or Fleetwood or any of these guys who used to play on Nike stuff, it's like an archive of experiments. And did you ever, were you able to take like what you learned from there and now the work that you're doing with Grindworks? And I know you do a lot of work with, you know, anybody that's making a wedge for you, you'll go in there and talk to the guys, and you know, you can specify. Sure. So how much of that knowledge that you gained from Mike are you transferring, you taking with you now?
Oh, a ton of it. Okay. A lot of that work, and you know, does like even when I work with you know, Vokey and those guys, and you know, Aaron Dill kind of does some grinding, or out here with Ben doing grinding, they come out, and the good thing is now I know what the sound's supposed to sound like. Right. I know how it's supposed to feel off the ground, but it's like, all right, there's times that it'll go through the turf and feel right, but if it doesn't have that right sound, you're like, sound okay, you know, and that was the amazing thing. A lot of the great people I've worked with on, you know, whether they're making wedges or grinding wedges, I mean, the first 10 balls I hit, they actually are never actually looking forward. Right. They're always kind of like, their head's almost looking the other way.
They're looking at the grass.
And they're sitting there and just listening. And like, all right, yeah, well, that, you know, it's clicking. And then after when they like, all right, it's clicking, where do you feel it? And so then I'm like, all right, it's a little bit on the toe side. So then they'll touch it there, a little heel or right in the center. So then they'll touch it. And then once it starts sounding correctly, then now they're watching to see how the ball's reacting. And I think that's the biggest thing is I've taken a lot of, okay, not only sound, but turf interaction to, I've taken all of that experience with those guys and have kind of, produced into the irons that I use with Grindworks.
Right.
We've built wedges and things like that, throughout Grindworks to help kind of not only build a club for myself, but also for a consumer that would actually go out and love it.
And we're going to get to that. The Grindworks project, you're like way into it. When I was at WRX, when it started, my question was, how long is this going to go on? Because it's hard. It's a big throw. I mean, it's a club company, right? Of course. So then you go to, you get a little deeper into your career. And I believe, if memory serves, and forgive me, but like, you go to Callaway, and I think you win your first PGA tournament with Callaway. I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was in the desert. Was it the Wyndham?
No, the Wyndham was the first one. I won with Justine on the bag.
Okay, so then you get into a bigger company, going from Nike to Callaway, but different. One's, I would say, more athlete driven, and then Callaway's like drivers and speed and all this other stuff. So when you're in your Callaway days, you're an Apex MB player. I think you were in the, all different kinds of drivers. But did you have a specific setup back then? Because what I'm going to say is you tend to go back to older equipment a lot, which I love. What was the bag during your Callaway days that you were really excited about? Like, what was a product back in that cycle that really excited you?
Well, the thing that really stood out to me was my 2-iron that I had, the Ford. It was just the
it was an X Forge.
But they bent it to 1-iron loft. It was
I remember that.
16 or 17 degrees, and I won my first tournament with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I took out my 3-wood, which is shocking. I took out the 3-wood and used that because I mean, during the practice rounds at Wyndham, you don't need length off the tee, but when you're not hitting driver, you're just trying to. It's firm and fast. I was like, all right, we'll just knock this thing down and chase it out there. Right. And of course, it rains the entire week, so the ball. But then the thing would never miss a fairway because it would just land and kind of stay in play. Right. And there's nothing like taking a really long iron, like a 2-iron or 1-iron, and when you hit it and it just the way it feels, it flashes, and you just kind of see it come out. I mean, things like that. I mean, the shot making you can do with it, and really just, my biggest thing is like when I was with Callaway was the best thing that I had with them is they weren't scared to think outside the box. Right. Right. I mean,
sometimes they do it a little too much.
Sitting there and it's like, they're like, wait, you want to use a 1-iron with the golf balls these days, and you're going to, you're going to X100 shaft in this 1-iron. I mean, you're not gonna get this thing off the ground. Right. It's like, well, it's for off a tee, get ball in play. They're like, they're like, all right, let's try it. Right. I mean, a lot of times when you start going that far outside the box, they're like, wait, and stuff like that.
Who was your rep? What rep did you work with? Johnny Thompson, or who was your?
Johnny, Kellen, Mike Sposa. Yeah. I worked with all the guys.
The legends.
All the guys. And that was the cool thing is with them, we all seem to be kind of on the same wavelength. Right, especially those three. But that just in general, anyone I worked with or called in Callaway, they were all on the same wavelength that we all kind of knew, all right, this is what this guy likes, this is what that guy likes, player-wise. So if I couldn't get a hold of those guys and I called anyone else, they already knew, all right, well, yeah, cool, let's so you weren't having to explain a lot. It's just like, hey,
which for you guys is huge. Yeah, like you want to be able to plug and play.
It's time. I mean, and it's about being efficient. And but no, I mean, it was awesome kind of with everything they're doing. I mean, I still talk to the guys. I see people out here a little bit. I mean, I saw Johnny at the Open and a couple of the majors. And, it's awesome seeing those guys again. And, I mean, I got the Odyssey putter back in the bag, which is awesome. And, always enjoy. But no, I mean, that was part of it. I mean, those clubs, I mean, there's a lot with those micro grooves, and kind of we grinded the leading edge on them just kind of so it kind of, I mean, when it's tight, even though when you're hitting down into it, it would still come out and exit without having to add a lot of bounce.
Because you were the first player, if memory serves you, you and Phil, I think, were the first two to do the actual, I call them Nike grooves, but like the micro grooves.
Yeah,
like,
micro grooves.
I think at the time it was just the two of you, which was, and I'm actually have a question, because I would consider you, if somebody asked me to explain your game, you are a pure field player. Like you're roll out of bed, talented field player. Like if you stopped playing golf for 5 years and just roll out of bed and went and play with like you just would pick it up. It's like riding a bike. Huh?
No chance.
You don't think so?
No, I take 3 days off. I come back. I'm like, is this a golf club or a tennis racket?
Oh, see, I hate that.
You kidding me?
I hate that.
You kidding me?
So we're having a conversation.
I'm a grinder.
Okay.
So I'm the guy that, like, if I go 5-6 weeks on the road, I go home. Like, if I fly home Sunday night, I have a club in my hand Tuesday. Whether I'm at the course or whether I'm just kind of like chipping and hitting at the house, like in my net or something,
right.
I'm always doing something. Like I can't take a lot of time off.
See that?
Like,
God damn it! See that?
I have to be a grinder.
I have you in my head,
but I mean,
as like something
like there's
else.
certain things like chipping, putting, that kind of stuff. It just has it. But full swing wise, because I like to play shots and hit shots. I mean, I mean, you lose that pretty quickly.
Right.
So for me, I mean, I pick it up pretty quickly. I mean, it'll take me a day to get back in shape. But that first day back, I'm like, what is this?
I forgot how to play golf.
Yeah. So
awesome.
no, yeah, it's one of those things that I mean, I always grind, and I feel like that's why I've kind of been that way, is because when I practice and grind so much, I mean, I'll never show up to a week unprepared.
Right.
I'll always show up. If anything, my fault will be I'll show up over-prepared. By the time tournament starts, I'm tired.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
Down because I've grinded too hard. And, you know, that's just kind of one of those things that, I mean, I feel like once you get to that point where you grind so much, when you do take time off, your body's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm
completely shut it down.
And so,
do you build, so because you move, you know, Bubba's another player that moves the ball around a lot, but do you, when you are putting golf clubs into your bag, do they have to be able to hit every shot out there? Or do you have like, you know, I know I cut my driver, I have a 3-wood here for a big rope hook. Like, do you silo it off section by section, or do you have to be able to do everything with everything?
No, so first off, what I do is, like, when I'm trying to see if the club's worth going in the bag or, you know, move on from certain testings. Like, first test is I go out in range, no track man,
just hit it.
Anything. I mean, I set up my alignment rods like normal, as if I was normally warming up, and I just hit them and be like, all right, does it feel good? Does it sound good? And on my basic swings and stuff, is it producing the tight draw that I'm normally? If it does, if it checks it, then it goes to round 2 of testing. And then round 2 is when I get the track man out. All right, how are the numbers?
Make sure it's spinning.
Are they spinning correctly? Is everything matching up? And if once that does, then round 3 is when I take the rods away, and it's like, all right, now let's hit shots.
Okay.
And I have to be able to hit the shots. Like, I mean, for me, it's about, you know, okay, if I'm hitting a fade, here's my fade swing. And if that's a really good swing, that's the ball's supposed to fade. And if the ball doesn't fade, I'm like, okay.
Golf club's not. Right.
You know, and my biggest thing is like, so say my 7-iron's my best club in my bag right now. Like right now, I'm flushing the 7.
Right.
So I'll test. So if I'm testing something, I'll hit 3 or 4 balls with that club, and then I'll grab my 7-iron and I'll hit 3 balls right after that with a 7-iron. And I always focus on that first ball.
Okay.
If that first ball doesn't go exactly where I'm wanting to, and it goes, say, dead left, and then I'll hit, you know, the next 2, and then I'll hit that new club again, then I'll hit 7-iron again and focus on that first ball again. And if both of them don't react correctly, I'm manipulating my swing to make the new club work.
You're trying to make it, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And so because in golf, you have to have that transition, right?
Right.
I mean, you step up and you hit, I mean, when you're on the golf course, you get 1 driver off the first, then you get 1 iron shot.
Right.
And then next hole, you get 1 3-wood and then 1 iron shot. Well, you have to have that transition back and forth. You can't manipulate this swing and then grab the next club, and because if you make the same swing, it could do something different.
Interesting.
And so
yeah, that's how I
fit my golf bag.
Okay.
And figure out. And
it's funny that you say making it work, because, you know, speaking of Kellen and, like, you know, working with Rombo, for example, if Rombo really loves a golf club, like if he hits a couple good ones, Kellen can tell if he's trying to make it work.
Well, yeah,
like,
so
he can just
Kellen
see it.
did that with me and Doral. I was hitting this 1 3-wood. I'm like, man, this thing's freaking awesome. And then he goes and he grabs my 8-iron. He goes, here, hit this. And I hit the first 8-iron, and the first iron went dead left. He's like, all right, here's the 3-wood again. And he didn't even let me hit 3. He just hit 1. And then he hands the 3-wood again, start flushing this 3-wood again. Hands me 8-iron, hit dead left again. That 3-wood never made it to my golf bag. He's like, you can't use this.
You're making it work.
He goes, well, you've been hitting your irons really, really well, right? It's like, yeah, I've been flushing them. He goes, okay. He goes, I've watched you on this range. You've been flushing your irons. Then when you went to test this 3-wood, you started hitting the 3-wood really well. And then when you went and grabbed an iron, first iron shot went sideways both times. He goes, there's no. And so, I mean, that's what's awesome about working with the guys that really know, especially, you know, Kellen, those guys at Callaway and, you know, things like that they, especially working with me, they know kind of, all right, like, we know how good I am with my hands.
Right.
I can make anything work. Well, that's a gift, but that's also a curse,
yeah.
Right? So I was making those 3-woods work, but then when I first hit my first iron shot, it wasn't. So it's like, hey, So it's dialing that in.
It's so
and
interesting.
That out. Oh yeah, I mean I can go. I mean I can go really deep.
Yeah, I know we don't have a lot of time. I feel like I was funny when we scheduled this interview. I'm like, that could be a 2-hour interview. Like we could sit here forever. Okay, I have 3 questions left. One is, you tend to go back to old stuff.
Right.
So like one of the things that I will always check for whenever, like, WRX, or if we see you on the range, whatever, I always want to see if that Aldila Rogue found that shaft.
We found them.
Okay, so it always finds its way back.
It's back in the bag.
What is it with that shaft? Is it just a security blanket?
No, it's just kind of one of those that, I mean, when I feel like I'm swinging really well, it feels so good. I mean, when I was at the Open this year at Oakmont, Tyler Scott rep came over, and I started working and changing some things in my swing earlier this year, and I felt like I was swinging really well, and the driver was just wanting to hang. I felt like I looked on film, and swing looked really well. Just the ball wasn't wanting to turn, and I told the guys, like, all right, well, the problem with me is if you put a lot of weight in the heel or put a lot of weight in the toe,
you overcompensate.
CG moves a little bit.
Yeah,
I start finding it.
Right.
I start finding that weight. A lot of guys, they just still will hit it in the center, but I won't. I'll start finding it. And so I was like, guys, we have to keep the weight a little bit neutral. And then if you go too upright on me, because my irons are flat as hell, yeah. So I grab these woods, and they're sitting up like this. There's no chance I'm releasing that thing.
Right.
And he's like, all right, well, what shaft worked really well? I was like, well, you'll never find it. 125 MSI
15 years old. Yeah.
I was like, they stopped making it. Next thing you know, 15 minutes later, he comes back with a 70 grammer and a 60 grammer.
Those are unicorns now.
I'm like, you're joking? He's like, I made them both, cut them both. Here you go. And I put that thing right back on that Tyler's head, and I was like, oh my. Home base again. I was like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
And I've just had a lot of success with that shaft, had a lot of confidence in the shaft. And it's kind of one of those things, once you get confident with something, you start swinging a little freer. You actually get a little faster.
Right.
Because then you're not trying to guide anything, and just it's always worked for me. I don't know why. I have no idea.
Well, that goes back to what I say about shafts. To me, shafts are always timing mechanisms. Right. Like they just are, like for every single player. And you find one, and I tell this to players all the time, if you find a shaft that you hit out of the guts all the time,
right,
that's your shaft. Yeah. That's one variable you don't have to worry about. Because the Kellen and all these fitters out on tour, they're so good with the head. Yeah. You give them a head, they can do whatever they want. But if the shaft's working, it just happens, it's just kind of how it works. So like whenever I'd go back, and Kellen told me this about you, actually, about that shaft. He was like, he tends to, whenever he gets off kilter with a driver, we know we can put him in that shaft, and he'll get right back to Patrick, like literally with one swing. And he's like, and it's just, that's just him. Good. I did want to take a moment to interrupt this show to bring to attention something we're very proud of is our T-commerce. If you want a logoed, fully equipped golf.com logoed merchandise from Grayson, G4, multiple companies. If you want the cool stuff with the fully equipped logo, go to our T-commerce section of the site. A lot of cool stuff in there. Obviously, I don't have any of it on right now. I just didn't have time to put all that stuff on, but there's some cool logoed stuff in there, and I'm working tirelessly to liven it up even more than it already is. So make sure you guys check that out if you want all the fully equipped golf.com branded logo, gear. T-commerce is where you'd find it. Let's get back to the show. Okay, 2 more questions. Grindworks, that whole thing. Yeah. So I don't know anything about the irons. I saw you on the truck like a couple of events ago, and I took some pictures of them. Just explain to me that whole project.
Yeah,
like, what is it?
So my coach and I were on the range at Bay Hill.
Okay.
And I was swinging what my coach and I thought was the best I've ever swung, mechanically. And the ball would every once in a while just start doming left. I'm like, what is it? And I, as a golfer, I was in one of those moods. Right. Shocker, right? Golfer gets in one of those moods. So we go to the back of the range at Bay Hill, and I'm hitting, and I'm just like, what's going on? I mean, he had to take the clubs. He took the clubs to the van, checked specs were right. He's like, well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Right. And so I was like, okay. And then, that's right when the quad came out. We put the stickers on the face, and they're like, all right, they go, I just want you to tell me, did you hit solid, thin, heel, toe? Like, how was the contact, and how was the swing? Right. And every time I said, I hit that, I flushed it, and the ball was hitting the heel. And every time I hit it, I was like, that was off the toe, that's going left. It was always in the center, so the CG's in the heel, obviously. Right. with forged irons, I mean, the CG is always going to get.
It's always going to be
the heel.
Yeah.
And so Justine, my wife, she, found Nimi Kirinari. Unfortunately, he passed away earlier this year, but he was with, he was in Club Mega Hall of Fame and all that, over in Japan and all that. And she just sent him a message like, hey, would you mind building my husband a Santa Claus patchery, blah, blah. He's like, I'd love to. So we're thinking he's just going to kind of put one of his blades together to my specs and send it to me.
Right.
And next thing you know, him and I have gone for almost 2 years from a block of metal. Okay, what is it you want to look at? What does it look like? And we designed an iron from scratch. So we actually have the micro grooves.
Yeah.
The
there's a lot
edge,
of touches in there.
Leading edge. The flat bottoms like it was, and the bounce type like my Nikes. Leading edge micro grooves, kind of like Callaway's. One of my favorite blades was the Ben Hogan Apex blades.
Yeah.
A little bit of that into it. And we have the center of gravity on every single iron is dead center.
Okay.
And so that was the hard part, was getting it to get the CG in the center on a forged iron, but also
especially on one piece iron. Yeah, it's
and
impossible.
then also it goes up and down because the face, because you're not going to swing a 4-iron like you do a pitching wedge. So I mean, to get the right launch and flight, the CG has to go also up and down,
right?
Not just in the center,
right?
And that's how ended up we designed these. And after the first set he made. It took forever for us to get done with it. But after all the talks and everything, he came to Houston, and I just looked at him and I go, when can I put these in play?
And that was it. I remember that was a WRX at the time.
So
that's the big story.
So we own Grindworks USA, and all the builds and everything comes through our house and through our team. And we actually, awesome. So Justine and one of my buddies, they actually check all the specs on every order at our house on our machines before we send them out.
So if I need a set of Grindworks, I got to call you.
Yeah, you know where to go.
Yeah.
You know where to
go. Gotcha. Okay.
It's been awesome because the great thing for me is not only being in the design process, but also knowing the center of gravity is dead center. I know that if I make a proper golf swing, ball is going to do this. I'm not going to have those head scratches of what was that.
Right.
Like, because I know the center of gravity is where it's supposed to be. I know the equipment's where it is. I mean, I have it down weighted from shaft weights. I have everything. I mean, everything's checked, all from weighting to everything. So I know and have full confidence when I pick it up that this is going to be correct.
Right.
And so now I've taken out that factor of, okay, was that club or was that me?
Well, yeah, it's a variable that you don't have to worry about anymore, especially you, like as a player that, relies on every club in your bag, but you're a great iron player. So to be able to trust, set to set that, you're not going to have to make any adjustments as you go is a big deal. Okay, last question. This is golf.com will kill me if I don't ask it. Ryder Cup's coming up.
Yep.
I'm a big advocate for getting you back on the team, and so is a lot of people at golf.com just because of the vibes, and it's New York and it's crazy. Where's your head at with that right now?
So I've talked to Keegan a couple times. There's still a chance I might be able to make the team. I mean, obviously it's going to, let's be honest, it comes down to these next 3 weeks.
Sure.
I'll play some really good golf these next 3 weeks, give myself a chance to, to make his job, make Keegan's job a little bit harder, right? To put my name in that scenario. But, it'd be an honor, obviously, to play for the team and to be a part of the Ryder Cup again and, represent the United States.
Well, especially there. Can you imagine what it would be like?
That's the thing is I know with my Ryder Cup record what I can do, how good of an asset I can be for the team, but also winning there at Bethpage in my career and with my kind of personality and know how to handle a lot of that noise,
the insanity,
is something I feel like is a huge asset to a team like that because, I mean, let's be honest, go to New York, it's going to be loud. It's going to be an environment. It's going to be a crazy environment. They love their sports up there. They love to get behind teams and get behind players. And I mean, being on the U.S. team, they're obviously going to get behind your team, but you're also hearing, you hear the noise that's being said about the other team to the other guys. So even though it's not directed toward you, you still hear it.
Still a distraction.
And so that's where, being in hostile situations, being in those kind of environments, I feel like and knowing how to handle them and succeeding in them, I feel like is a huge part. And, let's be honest, golf has always been a very individualized game.
Right.
In our whole careers, on PGA Tour, DP World Tour.
Yeah, it's me,
everything.
Me.
You're the one that is the names on the leaderboard. That's you. You're out there so individualized that 1 week a year, you get thrown into a team out aspect. So you have 12 alphas now all of a sudden have to learn how to play together.
Yeah, has one alpha. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so being out here and being a part of LIV and being in a team environment the entire time is not only taught me, I've always felt like I've always been a really good teammate and a good leader, but really being out here has taught me even how to be not just a great player, but also how to be even better teammate.
Right. So helps with the Ryder Cup stuff.
So,
yeah.
You know, getting thrown into a situation like that again, I felt like I've grown as a teammate where, I mean, my golf always speaks for itself, but the other aspect of that week is they've always been really good at the camaraderie side because they play a lot more team golf than we do over in Europe.
Yeah.
And now me being a part of a team all the time over here on LIV, I feel like that's an edge that is very helpful and useful.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've said this. You're absolutely hardwired for like international golf or team golf. Like I watched the Rory, you and Rory at Hazel team, like literally like 3 days ago, and it was just like some of the craziest. Like
well, the best was like in Dallas. I mean, Dallas this year when I won the first round, there was just these two guys that were heckling the heck out of me, and they kind of wouldn't stop because I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there's hecklers out there always.
Sure.
I mean, Thomas Peters, who's on my team because we were playing with each other, he ran over, was like in their face, like, shut up, all this. I had a 25-footer for par.
Right.
I hit this thing, I poured in. And I mean, I knew immediately. I mean, people started going at me. I'm like, I'm not missing.
Right.
They're going to I missed it. I turn around. I just turn around, look straight at them, say something. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know, and then I go and win the week. And it just shows, I mean, when I get in those kind of situations where it's like, all right, I have something to prove, people to, you know, people are saying stuff. I mean,
yeah, you're a dog,
just
dude.
like Ryder Cup. It's like, let's go.
Yeah,
My back's up against the wall. I mean,
I love it.
You know,
that's so cool.
So, I mean, no, I feel like I'd be a huge asset to that team. Obviously, I know I have a lot of work to do to get on that team. I mean, the only places we can earn points are obviously during the majors. And
well, now you got it. Now it's different kind of points. Now it's like street cred.
Yeah, but out here it's like, all right, well, I mean, I'm going to obviously have to rely on a pick, and you know. My biggest thing is, I mean, with talking to Keegan, I mean, he is so wired to, you know, not only put out what he thinks is the best team for him, but I mean, he's like, hey, this is part of my legacy. I mean, I don't want to mess it up. I want to put together the best team I can.
Right.
And I never want to make anyone's job harder.
Right.
Going out and playing some solid golf these next 3 weeks, I feel like, and you know, making
the yes pretty easy.
Yeah. You know, try to help him out, but also at the same time, you know, make the team and then, you know, really go out there and get that cup back home. Because what happened last Ryder Cup was unacceptable as a U.S. side.
No, you got to man up.
We got to get it. So.
We're rooting for you, man.
Thanks, buddy.
P. Reed, Johnny Wunder from LIV Chicago. Want to thank your team manager over there off camera for help setting this up. We are out of here.